Well, the NFL playoffs is here and the college football season is over. Welcome to another episode. So I'll talk about the NFL and the playoff scenarios in the last week of the season. To the major bowl wins and international title, which was Jesus Christ, already been decided. So I'll start with the major bowls. Tennessee versus Clemson. I thought Clemson was going to win. But nope, Tennessee just they did whatever they wanted. Dabo Swinney needs to get some wide receivers in the transfer portal, and they better pray to God that Cade Klubnik is actually the person they're hoping for. Pittsburgh beats UCLA. I thought UCLA would win. I thought South Carolina would be Notre Dame. Notre Dame won in a shootout. Notre Dame also has Sam Hartman. Great. They're going to go to the major bowl next year. Fucking wonderful. Kentucky and Iowa both are horrible. We all know this. We all accept this fact. Alabama gives Kansas State a reality check. Bryce Young boosts his draft stock. Penn State beats Utah in the Rose Bowl. I had Utah winning. Why am I so bad at these bowl game predictions all of a sudden? I was doing so well. Tulane, they beat USC in the Cotton Bowl. It was back and forth game all the way around. Tulane won it on like the last play of the game, pretty much. So they won 46-45. Lincoln Riley still doesn't know what a defense is. What a shocker. What a shocker. Purdue gets absolutely embarrassed by LSU. I expected it. I did not expect a 63-7. That's a slaughter. The playoff games, they were exciting this year. TCU and Michigan. TCU was ahead much in the game because of J.J. McCarthy kept throwing pick sixes. And TCU's offense playing pretty solid too. The game really came down to which team made the most mistakes, and that was Michigan. Michigan, once again, 2 pick sixes, and they fumbled the ball at the 1 yard line. I'm sorry, but if you fumble the ball at the 1 yard line, that's just not going to work. TCU honestly won the line of scrimmage for the most part. I mean, Dalen Horn had 4 sacks by himself. TCU had averaged 6.4 yards per carry, which you would think the edge would have gone to Michigan. No, the edge went to TCU all night long. Georgia and Ohio State. Ohio State was ahead much of the game. C.J. Stroud played the best game of his college career, and he did it the last one. A lot of odds stacked it against him. Mayan Williams, yeah, he had a touchdown run, but he only carried the ball 8 times. Dylan Hayden was now starter. But Marvin Harrison Jr. and Emeka Egbuka. And a little bit of Julian Fleming. Ohio State was able to score a lot on the air. However, Georgia was coming back much in the game. They came back in the first half, then they had to come back in the second half again. Stetson Bennett was able to keep pace. And when Georgia did run the ball, they ran it with some success. Really came down to Georgia was able to make the plays they made. They had that one deep bomb of Arian Smith. Then when Ohio State got a field goal to be up by 6, Stetson Bennett leads a drive, and catches a touchdown is A.D. Mitchell, who have barely played this year because of ankle problems. Ohio State did try to get to a game-winning field goal situation, but that was no good. Happy New Year, Ohio State Buckeye fans. Really thought you were going to win a national title this year. Wrong. Ohio State likes choking in national title games. How pathetic. The national title game was the biggest slaughter in bowl game history. 65-7. TCU just looked like shell-shocked the entire game. TCU is a good team, but they really did not know what hands were given to them when they played Georgia. Georgia just destroyed them. Stetson Bennett did whatever they wanted to. Multiple running backs were carrying the ball wherever they wanted to. The wide receivers, Brock Bowers and Lab McConkey, they did whatever they wanted to. And a couple other people have those 20-yard receptions. It just was a slaughter. Just TCU could barely do a damn thing. And Georgia just overran them, overpowered them. Line of scrimmage was not even close. TCU could do nothing in there. Max Duggan played his worst game of his college career, to no surprise, with nobody showing up. TCU had 36 yards rushing. That he's most likely has to deal with Duggan getting sacked. They actually count sacks as negative rushing yards. I don't agree with. Georgia's just something else, and Georgia is there hasn't been a college football team that has repeated since 2012 Alabama. Now they've done it this time, and Georgia really has overthrown Alabama as the top dogs of college football. Doesn't that mean Alabama will get it back for the short term? They could. Nick Saban's probably pissed right now of what he was watching. Why wouldn't he be pissed off? It's Nick Saban. We all know how Nick Saban rolls in his career. But it's just something interesting, to think about. Alabama has been dominant since 2008. And you know what? They still have the most pedigree. But for right now, Kirby Smart is the top dog of college football. Not only won a national title being Nick Saban, repeating it. Something that Dallas Sweeney, as good as he is, couldn't do. And Georgia's going to always get these great recruits. Georgia is going to get better recruits than Clemson ever can. It's just how it is. Georgia is just the elite programs. Georgia's always known for choking. They've been choking for years before 2021. Georgia's really starting to figure out how to be a dynasty because Georgia's been good for a long time. They were good in the Vince Dooley years, especially the early 80s. And they were good. They were very good when Mark Richt took over. But they could never get over the hump. Once Kirby Smart showed up, it looked like the same thing for a few years. But from 2021 to now, this team has figured it out. They can close games. And when you can close games, and when you're very good, dominant, national title collections are just, they're in your way. And that's what Kirby Smart has done. So Georgia has repeated its national titles. The NFL playoffs are here. All the seeding, all the speculation is done for. So the Chiefs, they clinched the number 1 seed. They crushed the Raiders. Who was going to win the AFC South? That would be the Jaguars. They beat the Titans 20-16. The Titans lost 7 straight games. Just an absolute collapse, a monstrosity this season. The Titans, they really regretted sticking themselves into Ryan Tannehill and did not paying A.J. Brown. That paid the ultimate price. There was no reliable option. Yes, Austin Hooper is a good tight end. Robert Woods is okay. And Treylon Burks might be a nice young receiver. They're not reliable. They're not A.J. Brown. And as a result, the Titans had one of the worst offenses in the league. And they lost 7 straight because of it. Who would have thought the Jaguars would make the playoffs? Man, Urban Meyer sitting in his couch kicking himself after that. Jesus. The Bucs made the playoffs anyways. They lost to the Falcons. Congratulations, Tom Brady. You made the playoffs thanks to a bad division. That Bucs team is just not that good. They're not the same. Todd Bowles is not Bruce Arians. Leonard Fournette is a fraud, apparently. That's just how it goes. The Bills beat the Patriots 35-23 in one of the most unprecedented sequences we've ever seen in the NFL. You thought the Bengals and Bills game finished? Nope. One of the most unprecedented events occurred in Cincinnati. I don't know if an NFL player ever collapsed before until the unfortunate scenario happened to Damar Hamlin. Well, Damar Hamlin is good now. He has recovered or still recovering. And he got to watch the Bills beat the Patriots. He got to watch that opening kickoff for a touchdown by a former Colt, Nyheim Hines. Austin Hines would get a second one later in the game. Josh Allen plays his Josh Allen stuff. The whole team just plays an inspired game. And the Bills lock up the 2 seed and they beat New England. The Vikings beat the Bears. The Bears started Nathan Peterman. Oh, God. the Bears would get the number 1 pick because the Texans beat the Colts 32-31. That was actually a good game. This was a game the Colts had to lose, in my opinion. The Colts need a quarterback. They need C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young. I would rather have C.J. Stroud personally. That was a very important game to lose because if the Colts won, they would have slipped to the 7th pick. Not certain. Now the Colts are certain they'll take a quarterback in this draft. They need it. A franchise-changing loss. The Bengals beat the Ravens, so the Bengals did clinch the AFC North. The Jets and the Dolphins, this game was terrible. The Dolphins win an ugly 11-6. The Dolphins, they're now in the playoffs. The Panthers beat the Saints, who cares? Mike Tomlin still hasn't had a losing season. What a good narrative. They beat the Browns 28-14. The Broncos beat the Chargers. I guess when Nathaniel Hackett is not coaching, their team actually looks pretty solid. What a shocking turn of events. And Nathaniel Hackett was a god-awful play caller at Jacksonville. Did nothing with the Packers. And they really thought this guy would be a good head coach. What's wrong with you? The Broncos have actually looked pretty solid the last few weeks. Should have never hired him. There's some coaches that are so bad, they don't deserve to get a job. Eagles beat the Giants, so they clinched the number 1 seed. The Niners, they clinched the number 2 seed. They smashed the Cardinals. J.J. Watts now has retired. Apparently, A.J. Green might speculate retiring. Kliff Kingsbury has been fired. Thank God, he should have never been hired. The dude just doesn't know how to win. He just cannot be a head coach. And the Cardinals GM decided to leave. He should have been fired a long time ago. The Cardinals are just a bad franchise. A disastrous season. And now the Cardinals have a lot of questions. Can Kyler Murray be fixed? Kyler Murray was not that good this year. James Conner is not that reliable, even though he's a solid running back. They need another good one. The weapons, I don't know. DeAndre Hopkins is still elite. However, everything else is unreliable. They also were injured to hell. Just a mess of an organization. The Seahawks, they have clinched the playoffs. They beat the Rams 19-16 in overtime. And a lot of people, including myself, thought the Seahawks would be terrible. And what's funny, the Seahawks can afford to make the playoffs because they have the Broncos pick. They have the 5th pick for the Broncos. So the Seahawks can make a good playoff run. Geno Smith, he's probably going to win the comeback player of the year. Just look at the stats. 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns to 11 picks, nearly 70% completion percentage. Easily Geno Smith's best season. Geno Smith has done nothing. He was terrible with the Jets, terrible with every other team. This was finally the good season that Geno Smith had. He was playing like he did in the West Virginia days, and he's going to make the Pro Bowl. The Cowboys are officially frauds. There's no excuse for losing to the Commanders. Dak Prescott's been iffy the entire year. He was just awful. Couldn't even complete 50% of his passes, and his stats this season just look honestly bad. The Cowboys probably regretted paying this guy money, even though he honestly had to. The Packers, they thought they could make the playoffs, right? No. The Lions played spoilers. That's pretty much what they did. They played spoilers. The Lions played solid the entire game. Rodgers made some crucial mistakes, especially the last drive of the game. And the Packers season is over. Nobody wanted to see the Packers make the playoffs. Everybody got their wish. The Packers were just not that good this year. Aaron Rodgers, what a shocking revelation. Without Davante Adams, this offense is compromised. Yeah, Rodgers chased the bag. And forgot that Davante Adams wanted some of that too. Good luck, Packers. You'll need it. The playoff games are here. So, I'm going to give you the matchups, and I'm going to see who I think will win. Seahawks and the 49ers. This game is odd. Everybody's probably going to be picking the 49ers, and honestly, I would. This is a trap game, potentially, for the 49ers. But They have the home field advantage. They're the number 1 ranked defense. And both quarterbacks are going to be playing, both Brock Purdy and Geno Smith are going to be playing in pressured situations. Now, the 49ers do have home field advantage. I think the 49ers would win because they're just a better team, period. And Geno Smith doesn't have playoff experience to make me hope that he can step up against the Niners. Chargers and the Jaguars. I'm honestly going to take the Jaguars. I just don't think the Chargers have not been good as we thought they would be this year. Just a lot of question marks for the Chargers. Their offense, they've been solid, not really as good as last year. And their defense, everybody was propping them up, right? Injuries took them out. Khalil Mack, he has not been that good this season. He's had moments, just really wasn't there. Just overall, the Chargers are just not as good, but we thought they'll be, and I picked the Jaguars. Dolphins and the Bills. The Bills will blow them out. Tua's probably not going to start, probably for the better long term. So Skylar Thompson's going to start, and that's going to be a disaster. That's just no. Giants and the Vikings. This one's a good one. I don't know. I honestly don't know who to pick. The Vikings are a good team, but every single game is a heart attack. Like, every single game that this team has had, they close game besides the Bears game. And the Giants are no joke. So I honestly I don't know who to pick. I'm gonna go upset. I think the Giants can upset the Vikings. Maybe. I'm probably going to go with the Vikings just because Daniel Jones does not have playoff experience. But that is honestly 50-50 to me. Ravens and the Bengals, I think the Bengals win. The Ravens offense has been dead for over 2 months. Then the Monday Nighter, Cowboys and the Buccaneers. I'm going with Tampa Bay. Cowboys looked fraudulent all year. Dak Prescott, he's like another Tony Romo. He's clutch in the regular season. He has not been this season. He chokes in the playoffs, and I think Dak Prescott's gonna do it once again. It just comes down to how bad Dak Prescott's been playing. So, Cowboy fans, good luck. Good luck. Because you'll need all of it. For their team, it's just not that good. Your team's not that good. So, congrats. Let me enter all my goddamn stuff. I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to have Giants winning. The Vikings are fraudulent. What am I thinking? The Vikings are frauds. And I might as well predict the playoffs entirely. Bills and the Bengals. I'm probably going to have Bills. Chiefs will beat the Jaguars. Niners will crush. They would crush the Buccaneers. And the Eagles can beat the Giants. Championship games, I'm going to go with Bills, 49ers. And I'll have Bills beating the 49ers in the Super Bowl. So that's my Super Bowl prediction. The Bills versus the 49ers. And I'll have the Bills winning. And I actually still have my regular season up here. Wow. So the Bills and the Chiefs, I was right. I had the Dolphins going 10-7. I was sort of right. I was right about the Patriots. No. The Jets, I'm kind of wrong. They're 7-10. I had them 4-13. The Chargers, I was kind of right. I picked a bullshit tie between them and the Browns. So I was right about the Chargers. I had them 10-6-1. They're 10-7. The Broncos and the Raiders. I was wrong. The Raiders are 6-11. The Broncos are 5-12. What was I thinking? The Ravens are 9-8. I had their 10-7. I had 9-8. The Browns, they're 7-10. I am 8-1. Steelers, I had them 7-10. Steelers are 9-8. I was a little off. The Colts, oh my God. Did I really thought that this team was stable? I was, there's one more team I was wrong the most. I had the Colts 10-7. They're 4-12. Titans, I had them 9-8. They're 7-10. I had the Texans winning 5 games. They're 3-13-1. The Jaguars, I had them 2-15. They're 9-8. I was wrong. I had the Rams 14-3. My God. And the Rams are, I think they're 5-12. They're 5-12. Cardinals 11-6. They're 4-13. Why did I believe in the Cardinals? And more shockingly, why did I believe they would win 5 of their last 6 games? What? Even I'm questioning that move. I had the Niners 9-8. They're 13-5. My predictions this season are just bad. Seahawks 4-13. They're 9-8. Bucks 11-6. They're 8-9. And I was kind of right about the Saints. I was 1 game off. I was right about the Panthers. They wouldn't be that good even though they won 7 games. I was a little bit wrong on the Falcons. I thought the Falcons would just be pathetic. They have competed in some games. Cowboys, Adam 10-7. They're 12-5. The Eagles 10-7. Adam 10-7. They're 14-3. I had the Commanders 9-8. They're 8-1. I had the Giants 7-10. They're 9-7-1. I had the Packers 10-7, and the Packers are 8-9. The Vikings, I knew they'll make the playoffs. I did not see a 13-4 season. The Lions, I had them 5-12. I saw they'll make improvement, but man, they really improved this season. The Lions ended their season on a hot streak. They won 5 out of their last 6, and I was 100% right on the Bears. I had them going 3-14. So I was only right exactly at two ones. The Patriots and the Bears. They were like, I was like 100% nailed. I missed a couple by 1, and there were some ones I just straight up completely missed. So that'll be it for the college football playoffs, the NFL Week 18, my playoff predictions, and my horrendous predictions of the 2022 season. I was pretty bad. So that'll be it for this episode, and thanks for watching.